Today at shopdap.com, we're going to be talking about tire pressure faults on Volkswagen and Audi models. Okay, so we just picked up this 2014 S4. We are going to be using it as our project car. We're going to be doing a bunch of modifications. We just put out a video talking about how to look over the vehicle for a pre-purchase inspection, or if you already have one, you want to make sure it's in good working order. It should be helpful. But during the process of, since we picked this vehicle up, we drove it down here from Washington, D.C. It's about 5-hour, 6-hour drive. The tire pressure light since after getting back here has come on. Now, I didn't check the tire pressures when I initially picked up the vehicle because I knew it had tire pressure monitoring and was not concerned about it. So tire pressure light came on. We want to inspect this vehicle for tire pressure issues. So first, let's start with this. This car does not have tire pressure sensors in each sensor. It uses an ABS-based tire pressure monitoring. Basically what it's doing is using the wheel speed sensor to make sure the overall rotation of the wheel and tire does not change. And if it does, it's going to trigger the light. And so that's how the basic idea of how these systems work. So let's just talk about it real briefly. Okay, so here we are on our vehicle. And when we turn our ignition on our vehicle, we get a tire pressure fault. It looks like this. Okay, so it tells you to go into your car. So we're going to go into our menu here and go into our car. And we're going to go into car systems. And then service and checks there. And as you can see, you have tire pressure monitoring here. And so what we are supposed to do with this system is check all the tire pressures and then click the store pressures button. So let's go check those tire pressures. Okay, now we already have the lug cap off this. So we're just going to check this pressure real quick. And we are at 43 PSI. That is way too high. Hey guys, this is Paul from the future. When I said that was way too high, what I actually meant was it was slightly high, and the correct tire pressure is 41 PSI. We don't want our tire pressures this high, so we are going to have to let that down. I'm gonna set these pressures at about 38. And what you can always do is, if you're not sure what your pressure should be, you can check your door jams. And it'll actually have the correct pressures listed in there. The mistake that a lot of people make is they look at their tire and they think that the max pressure on the rating for the tire is what they're supposed to set it at. So I've seen tires set at 90 PSI before. And there we go. All set there. And then throw our cap back on and go to our next wheel. Same, we're gonna check here. And this one's set at 35. So we're gonna have to actually raise the pressure on this one a little bit. So we will reset this tire pressure to 38 like we did the front one, and then we'll move on to our next wheel. And this one's also set at 43. So we're gonna have to drop this one down as well. Now last, we got our front one here. And we are at 26 PSI. That is way too low, and so we're going to be raising this one up. We will want to check to make sure that this tire doesn't have any leaks, so we'll go ahead and visually inspect it now. So really what I'm looking for is anything in the tire. You know, obviously you're always gonna have rocks and stuff like that. We want to make sure that it's just a rock and not a nail or a screw or anything like that that you picked up along the way. I don't see anything particularly obvious on this tire that's wrong here. So it's very possible it was just allowed to get low, or we have a leak from either a bead or from a valve stem. But I doubt that's the case. So what we're gonna do is set our tire pressure and then just keep an eye and monitor our tires as we go, but we don't have anything majorly wrong with our tire, so we can continue. All right, we've set our tire pressure there. And we're all set. Now that we've set our tire pressures, all we would do is go inside of our vehicle, hit the reset button in the MMI on this vehicle, and then you'd be all set, and your vehicle is set to these tire pressures. So you know that if the light triggers again, you have an issue again relating to these problems. And if we have this tire actually show low again, we will have to try to figure out where the leak is coming from, at which point we'd have to spray it down with soapy water to try to locate our leak. On VW models, oftentimes don't have an MMI like this, or current Mark 7 models and that type of stuff does have an in-dash kind of similar to MMI where you would reset it electronically. The earlier generations of Volkswagens that have this type of setup actually have a physical button for resetting the tire pressure monitoring. It's usually in the glove box. So you're either gonna reset it through your electronics in the dash, or you're gonna have an individual button for it, which oftentimes is in the glove box. Hopefully this video is helpful. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more like it.